have more Cali Best Driver Stories for you, and they kind of just go really crazy. I thought I was gonna be done. I was just hanging out with some friends today, and like I said, I drive the way I drive, and I just enjoy it. And so when other people try racing me, I just kind of don't care, because I know how badly I'll beat them. And knowing that they lose their cool, that they're just gonna speed off and just floor it in the end. So it doesn't matter, technique and skill, just goes out the window for a lot of these people. Anyways, let's talk about some of the stories today. I just had a good run. Lately it's just been super chill. And it's just been like highway stuff. This was on the highway, so actually I have to add this one to the list. This one was like a Honda Pilot or something. It was one of the smaller ones, SUVs, but it was a newer model. And he saw me driving, and he just decided to recklessly overtake me for no reason, because he was driving behind me. And I could see in my rear view the person losing ground. And whenever they lost ground, like I said, after they lost ground and I was just like grooving, they just decide to floor it and just drive recklessly, right? They lose their cool. Which reminds me that I need to not lose my cool as well. Today was a very rough night for me and the car. And so some of the things I worry about is if I'll even make it home whenever I get out there and drive. So that's why I want to be more careful. But let me tell you guys the latest stories. That was tonight. So a RAV4, a Honda Pilot. I was gonna say RAV4, but it wasn't one of those. It was a Pilot. It was just a Honda smaller SUV, but a new model one. Like I said, he was trying to keep up with me. Yo, what's up? And so, like I said, I'm gaining, and he loses ground. And so he gets mad at me because, he loses ground, and he sees there's a gap in skill level. So he just swerves off, and then boom, floors it and drives recklessly. These people hit, with these new cars, it's pretty easy to hit close to like 100 miles per hour, if not more. And so yeah, he aggressively overtook me, even though he was behind me, and I gave him, a good bus length or two. So he speeds off and cuts me off. And then boom, so good thing is that me and this guy are coming into the same exit. And so we approach the exit, and it's a huge ring. And what I like about this one is that it's a dual lane. It's not a single lane, it's a dual lane. And so this is the 2024 25 Honda Pilot, but it's one of the nice ones. And like I said, he aggressively overtakes me at over 80 miles per hour. And then I'm like, all right. And good thing I noticed we're coming into this exit. He has the inside line clearly. I'm not gonna try to aggressively cut lines or anything, or cut the highway just to get a pass on him from the inside. And no, I'm not gonna do illegal turns. So what I did is I focused, and I saw them. They braked. They got scared because we were pretty much toe to toe in the corner. And right as the corner came, he braked, and I just kept going forward, and I hit the perfect apex, and then I floored it. And right around that apex I start sliding around him right as he slows down, because he's scared to get his car sideways. And I'm flooring it, and boom, and I get the pass on him. I overtake him because it starts closing, but it's super close, and boom, I get the pass in. And boom, that was that, you know. After that, you know, he slowed down. He stopped his aggressive overtakes, you know. And I just went on about my way. And so another story I could tell you guys, I feel like this one just happened, like I said, you know, I was after that, my car started giving me trouble. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. You know, I hit a bump, something got knocked loose or something, you know, really quick, and sometimes it knocks my car out of balance, and so I can't go past a certain speed. And so, you know, I have delayed power and everything. And you know, and the harder part about it is that everything turns off. My traction control turns off, you know, my speed control, everything turns off. And mind you guys this, we're on the highway. And, you know, I'm already rushing home to get back tonight because, you know, I stayed out a little bit later tonight. And I wanted to help out, or, you know, get back and say goodnight to the puppies and everyone and get back here. Yo, Biffy, yo, thank you guys so much. Thank you, everyone. What's up? And so, you know, I start pushing it a little bit, you know. I pick up my pace a little bit, but I stay, you know, I keep a good pace. And, you know, as I'm like passing cars, you know, little by little, I'm guessing this one car noticed me and he began to start following me. And so I didn't know what kind of car it was by the headlights, you know, I was guessing it was either like a Honda Civic or like a Toyota. And, you know, like, mind you guys this, like I said, my car is barely working now, you know, and I'm picking it up to like a higher pace because, you know, it's fine, but I just can't go too fast. And so, you know, I start making this guy lose ground, you know, he starts losing ground. And there's this bend on the freeway, which is crazy because it turns into a bend, like, it goes woof, with just straight 90, almost 90 degrees, and you have to like literally turn. And so he sees me, you know, and I literally see him brake before, you know what I mean? He brakes before, and I gas through the whole thing, and I leave him behind, you know? And I think that pissed him off, because after that, you know, like a second or two later, you know, by the time I see his headlights come around the bend, you know, I already signal my victory, because it's a loss right there, bro. I'm gone. If my car was working 100%, I'm gone already. And so after that, you know, I just take off on him. And probably for like a good minute, you know, I was there. But then, you know, he started, like I said, this person lost their cool and got super reckless and just decided to floor it. And, you know, they were just going, pushing their car to past the limit, I'm pretty sure. And so yeah, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they messed their car up, but yeah, my car was only able to go so fast, and you know, I ended up keeping up with him. And like I said, he started driving recklessly. I think this guy picked up speeds of close to like over 100 miles per hour. I think a little less, honestly, probably around 90. You know, getting close to there. And then, like I said, you know, he got hit with some traffic and he just hit the brakes, and like literally like 5 or 6 seconds after, you know, because I slowed down, you know, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna let this guy go because I already beat him. And, you know, I was already thinking to myself, I was like, why do I have to chase this guy, you know? And I was like, I don't. So I just literally like hit a blind attack move on him, and I just get right behind him and I flash him, and he got so scared he literally started like tailgating the car in front of him. And, you know, he was just so pressured by it. And after, you know, he just took off on me. Like, literally, he just took off on me. And by that time, I knew what kind of car it was, guys. It was like a Toyota Corolla. And so I can't really confirm the color because it was like a little bit, like, two colors. You know, it was a mixture of like either gray and blue because it was all scratched up and paint all over the place. Sup, Colin? Just got home, fried. I'm gonna shower soon for sure, bro. I'm over here telling my driver stories, bro. Some people are driving crazy against me tonight, and I'm about to finish the story with which. Let me tell you guys how that made me feel. I was like, man, this guy is just taking off on me, and I can't even gas it because my car won't let me go past a certain speed. But I'm just like, man, but he couldn't keep up with me while my car was limited. You know what I mean? He couldn't keep up with him while my car was not working. You know what I mean? I made him lose ground to the point where he just started driving recklessly. And so that's what made me refresh my mind. And I just said, you know what? It's cool. And I just let him go. And he just kept speeding off and speeding off. But let me tell you guys this. In my mind, yeah, I felt like I lost because I felt like I lost because he just was able to get away from me. The car wouldn't let me go any faster. At the moment. I was just like, dang, is this a loss? I was telling myself. And I was like, no, it's not a loss because I already beat him. And like I said, he just sped off. And like it's messed up because my car is not at, and my car is running at like 50%, and this guy's giving it all he's got, and I'm still keeping up with him. And so and shouts out God. I'm not even trying to mess around like that. Seriously, everyone, like shouts out God for real. Like God wasn't gonna let them get away with that. And surprisingly, guys, like I'm serious when I tell you guys this. I was on the way home, right, and this was another battle that happened. It was like a Mercury SUV. And this guy started trying to swerve in the lanes and keep up with me, but I just got so, I was getting so close to the wall, probably like a good centimeter or two away from the wall. And I'm getting really close around the bend. Really, really close like that, And I'm boom, I gas, and I'm like boom, and then you see him and he just like slows down because he can't do it. This guy's scared of ruining his car, so but I know I can do it. I already see it in my head, and I've done it. And I take off on him. And guess what, everyone? Guess what? Right as I come out of that bend, right as I come out of that bend, boom. Guess who I see stopped at the light? Guess who I see stopped at the light? To guess they would have been so close to home. To guess this person that was chasing me down on the highway and just flew by me aggressively because they lost their cool and was so mad and made me feel like I lost, even though I won. Who would have thought that they would have been stopped right there at that light? And right at that moment, boom, I did not slow down. I literally went for my pass, and boom, I passed him coming, as he's coming off, I let him take off, and he saw me, bro. He started trying to take off, and boom, I go for my pass, and there's speed bumps, but I know, and I was like, man, there's certain spots on the speed bumps, and I'm not gonna say any more about that. And so boom, we're side by side on the speed bumps, but his car is lower and my car is higher. He slows down, and then, but I take it and I jump the car, and I literally jump like a whole car ahead. You guys have no idea. It's so crazy, and it's the middle of the night. And he kept trying to keep up, but I get in front of him, and boom, we hit the stop. And I signal my victory again, because he did not get away with that, and no one will ever understand that, bro. That's so crazy. I felt like I took a loss, but not because like of me or the car or anything, like it's just, but then I didn't, bro. I won twice. All that for nothing. Yeah, it's so crazy, bro. And he had that much of a lead because think about it. When I let him go, he just kept going, bro. And he had probably like a good 30 seconds or more And, you know, by that time, and I caught up to him at that light, and I passed him, bro, and I jumped the car. And there was two. I jumped it twice. So the first one, I didn't really jump it. I just went boom, boom. And then the second one went boom. And I was like, and then I just bring the car in front of him like that. And he's just stuck behind me. And he was, like, flashing me, like, a lot. You know, he just kept trying to flash me. And then I was just like, and I took off, and then there was one final turn where when I get close to my house, but he didn't want to follow me through because I literally went, and he just went. He tried to, but then he just kept going straight. He gave up on it, and it was just so crazy. And that's when I told myself, I was like, wow, you know, God did not let them get away with that, and it was just so crazy, bro. All that for nothing, bro. BRB for sure. It's so crazy, bro. It was just like that moment in fourth stage initial D. If you guys have ever seen that moment with Keisuke versus Godfoot, where he had to intentionally give him the lead of over 7 seconds. So think about it. For me to catch up to someone that had over a 30-second lead is so crazy. And I got my get back on it, bro. You know, and I feel like for that, bro, I really gotta stop. Like, I've been telling myself I need to stop. I need to retire, bro, because it can't keep going down like this, you know? It's too much. You know, maybe I do want to lose, right? Maybe I do want to, but at the same time, no, I can't. Because I know, like, you know, yeah, I know. Anyways, I've been enjoying the latest series, man. MFG, SNSAS, which is Subaru and Subaru. Goated, guys. You guys have no idea. And we're carrying it on over here with Cali Best Driver. You guys know how we do it. What is he talking about? Yo, I think what I just said speaks for itself. Cali Best Driver, guys. I was telling some stories about what just happened. You know, I still remain undefeated. You know, even though that was an unofficial battle, and that guy literally, you know, got away from me for a while. I managed to catch him right at the end, and I beat him real bad. Twice. And so, yeah, you know. It's goated, man. But yeah, I think I'm done, you know. I'm really gonna stop, like, pushing it. I just want to try to drive normally, you know. I'm tired of constantly, you know, dealing with these people that I don't have to be dealing with. You know, they're easy pickings anyways. It's crazy. How do you lose from a 30-second lead, right? It's crazy. You beat who at what? Oh, okay. So I was saying Cali Best Driver, right? So that means Cali, California, and then Best Driver. So it's a series that I talk about. It's nonfiction. It's based on real events. And so, you know, I started doing it, you know, I started practicing driving. And, you know, over time I had challengers, people challenge me. And throughout that time, you know, I took everything that I've learned about, like, driving and what I know and how I feel, my own theories and my own spins. And I've applied it, you know, on the road, and I've had a lot of people challenge me, and we've remained pretty much undefeated. Yep, someone said hit the gas to go and brake to stop. That is correct. And so, you know, it's kind of crazy how I have people just challenge me when I'm just trying to drive normally. And so, like I said, you know, it was this blue and gray Toyota Corolla or something like that, right? It was a mix of both because of, like, the flaked paint and you know, the paint coming off of the car. and the metal being exposed. We come around a bend on the highway, a 90-degree bend on the highway. So it literally goes like that. I'm not lying. It's pretty dramatic. The Corolla, me, and I'm going. I take the curve without braking. I floor it through the curve, and he brakes and he loses ground. I'm gone by like about a bus length or two. And the difference in skill level right there made that person crash out, and they just stepped on the gas and drove recklessly like a maniac. And you know, they just decided to pass me. And even though, and like I said, and this all happened right when my car was messed up, so my car wasn't even working properly. And so someone said, I got a Mustang GTDL racing. Nice. Order me a pizza. Okay. Actually, it's probably a little late. I don't think any places are open. I think Pizza Hut might still be open. Maybe Domino's for delivery. Papa John's? Well, what's your guys' favorite pizza place? No, but for real, you got a Mustang GTD? That's nice, bro. That's nice. And so, like I said, we came around the bend, and this guy got so mad, he started driving recklessly and crazy on the freeway. I'm telling you guys, he's on the highway. And like I said, I'm going, you know, driving the speed limit, guys. Maybe just a little bit over, just to give the cars behind me some space, you know? So they're not constantly tailgating me. And, so they can go the speed limit too. And so, you know, this guy overtakes me, and my car can only go so fast because it's not working properly. I have to check on it actually real soon. And then, you know, and I let him go. And so, Vanilla, if you're still here. So I let him go. Joey, if you're still here. So I let him go. And like maybe a good 20, 30 seconds pass. Oh yeah, no, I don't go like that much over. I just kind of eyeball it. You know, I'm looking at the speed limit, you know, and hope, you know, keeping it at like the 65 mark. Obviously, it's not super accurate, you know, because it's a gauge, and then, you know, they make electronic meters and stuff. So I always try to, you know, keep it accurate. And yeah, usually when cars do that, yeah, they lose their cool already. They just go, you know, start driving recklessly and pass just to slow back down. And so I'm guessing this guy got super comfortable because I let him go, and I kept my cool. Because after I like I said, after I beat him and he passes me, flies by me, and I'm like, okay, and I just go for a blind attack, and I appear right behind him, even though he was driving like crazy. And you know, I give him a scare, he takes off again, and that's when I said I let him go. And a good about 15 to 25, 30 seconds pass. And as I'm already getting off on the way home, I complete another battle, I see him right there, stopped at the light, you know, by the you know, by the great power of, like, you know, the universe or fate or something, you know? And that's what I'm saying. So like, the universe or fate would have it that he would just happen to be stopped at that light perfectly for me to pass him right there. He had no way of escaping this. And you know, we go for one final battle where I can finally take the win that I deserve. You know, even though I already beat him. And I beat him. He was upset once again, you know, he was just flashing me, you know, over and over with his lights, even though I beat him. And that's that. And I went home, once again, undefeated. It's super crazy, man. I really, and it's not like I took a loss because I let him go. It's just, it made me feel like I took a loss because I couldn't, you know, if the car was working properly, you know, at that time, you know, I definitely would have, like, been able to chase him down like nothing, you know? Would have bullied him. But nah, see, that's the thing. Maybe life was trying to tell me something that, you know, I didn't have to bully him, or, you know, I don't have to do anything or prove myself to anybody. It showed itself. It literally did. It literally showed itself. He lost that entire lead that he had by driving recklessly, you know, 80 miles per hour on the highway, driving 90 to close to 100 miles per hour with you know, with a really unsafe car, I would say. And so, bro, you good? I'm great. Thank you so much for asking, guys. TF, K, thank you. You said, just kidding, bro. You seem chill. Yo, thank you so much. Never go over the speed limit. Yeah, you're right. It's dangerous, guys. I definitely don't enjoy it, especially when people want to go toe to toe with me like that. It's just messed up. But today was something else, you know. It speaks to me. Like, I don't want to go out there and drive like that anymore, and I've been trying to do it, you know. I hope you guys understand that if I ever stop, like, driving like that or stop racing, that it's because of that, you know. I don't want to, like, put the car at risk, myself at risk, anyone else at risk. You know, I don't want to prove that I'm better than anyone. You know, if I'm just that good, it's got to be a fact. It can't just be like, oh, you know, it's not a 50-50, it's just a thing, bro. You know? I'm not invincible, I'm not unbeatable. You know, that day is gonna come, I'm telling you guys, but I'm not worried about it, guys, because to be honest, we haven't had any really crazy challenges. For example, I haven't gone up against, like, a Toyota Supra or anything of the sorts, any supercars. I haven't gone against anything like that. You know, I've barely gone up against, like a Mustang and a Roush, but that's about it. You know, I beat one of them on the downhill and the other one in a braking contest. You know, but that's about it. You know, I beat in a Corvette Z06, but it's not a, but you know, it's no ZR or ZR1 or whichever, ZRX1. You know, it's not like no. But I don't know, guys. Like I said, I haven't really, and like I said, we haven't really raced any other, like, modded cars, for example. Those are, you don't see too many of them because California law. You get state refed, and you know, that's a big dent in anybody's pockets. And that's cool, man. You know, drive whatever you guys like, mod it or not. But you know, we've faced some cars with turbos, some cars with all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, V6, V8, four-cylinder. Like I said, I've yet to go up against something like that. But yeah, you know, I guess on memorable moments is like when, oh yeah, memorable moments was when, you know, I remember when I got into the accident, you know, some guy, he was in a red Supra and he pulled up and he's like, he said his, like, you know, he looked at me, but he knew it wasn't gonna be the end. He said, you know, like in MFG, you know, when Senna was past Kanata, he was saying like, oh, like, you know, I'm gonna go ahead, but you know, this doesn't mean S word, you know, this doesn't mean shrapnel. So yeah, you know, I never gave up on that. And I remember I was on the highway one time and I literally saw like the perfect yellow Supra in the perfect racing yellow or canary yellow, you know. straight out of MFG. It was good. And you know, he literally pulled up next to me because he saw me, and like he literally pulled up next to me. We were like just, you know, driving side by side, and he saw me, and literally, it's kind of crazy how he did the same thing. He was just like, it's it's such a crazy memorable moment. But it's funny because I've done it before too. Like one time there was, like I ran into somebody. He was driving a older Toyota truck, but he drove the heck out of it. Me and this guy were going side by side, you know, through the mountain, you know, throughout the whole thing. And he was in an older generation vehicle. He was still holding up though. He was doing good. I wasn't really pushing it too hard, but I was just trying to keep up, you know. And he was doing good. And I literally pulled up next to him, and I just was like, nice. I saw that, and he saw me, and he was like, yeah. You know, we nodded like men. All right, I'm gonna go test the vehicle or the car. I'm gonna go check it out, see how it sounds. Look at my nose. So the car is back to normal. Like I said, it happens sometimes. The car will get knocked out of balance, and it just won't let me go past a certain speed. And yeah, you know, it's kind of a tough one because I ended up using more gas because of it. So instead of saving gas, I used more gas. Therefore hurting my pockets, the economy, and the environment. I'm about to crash out. The one thing I wanted to do was be economically. Oh my gosh, I just want to crash out. Just wanted to save some gas and just wanted to save the earth. We won't forget, guys. We won't forget. And I won't forget that. That's what makes me feel like, you know, I believe in, and, you know, I believe. I believe there's, yeah. Wow. I just believe the world is real, you know? I believe in, like, in almost everything. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Some people are bad, but, you know, they can be good, but you ask yourself, who knows, who knows? If bad people didn't have a reason to do bad things. That's the question, right? What would be their reason to not do it? You know, what would be the... Someone said, do you take acid? No, I don't. Yo, thank you guys so much. I don't condone, like, the use of drugs, guys. Even though... Even though they tell you they are great, guys, don't... Or, you know, just be mindful. I'm not saying... I don't condone it, and be mindful. You know, I've seen a lot of people get messed up, but... You know, just don't ever lose yourselves, guys. I'm really happy to be here. Maybe I should do those videos that I was talking about where I film Time Attack now. Do my own spin, because today's been a crazy night. I think I need to blow off some steam. Plus, I'm hungry, man. I want to cook some bacon. What do you guys think? No, but to answer your question more thoroughly, I have tried it, guys. I've tried but like that's besides the point, guys. Or I've done it. You know, I've also tried like mushrooms and stuff, guys, but you guys gotta be careful with that kind of stuff. It's easy to get messed up on one of those. I've seen it happen, seriously. It's not good, man, you know, and you always gotta look out for each other. Even in today's world, like if you're smoking like anything, bro, if you're smoking nicotine, tobacco, or like weed or anything, guys, you still need to make sure you guys got people around you, man, to look after you, because you could have a panic attack or anything at any time, right? And not because of the stuff, but you know, it's just stuff happens, guys. You gotta be around, you know, those people, those you care about, and you know, those that care about you, guys. You know, drugs, you know, aren't the only thing and stuff, guys. You know, there's much more to life. And, you know, everyone, you know, does their own thing and enjoys their own things. You know, some people enjoy drinking, you know, like beer, and some people drink hard liquor. It's two different things, you know. Some people like to eat steak, some people like to eat what, like ham? What would be a difference, right? What's the opposite of steak? Back, bro, eating my dinner. What's up, Aloe Wolf? Yo. I think I just came here to just tell my stories, bro. That was crazy, bro. That's what made me feel like a true believer in the world, you know? That there's like good and evil, and it's not like it's like a constant battle. It's just more of it's two sides both wanting to come to like that end, and it's just crazy, bro, you know? I don't know, bro, but it was chill today, bro. If anything, yo, could I hit you up right now, Al Wolf? I'll hit you up right now. If anything, bro, I might not even stream for tonight, or maybe after I'll stream. Yeah, but I think from now on, I'm just no longer gonna drive like that, guys. I have to keep my cool. You know, that's today's lesson, tomorrow's lesson, and it's gonna be this next lesson for the next 3 months, everyone. 3 months, and I challenge all of you. So, Cali Best Driver Challenge. Keep your cool for 3 months. Drive normally. Do not accelerate. Drive normal. 3 months, everyone. If you could pull it off, then you can call yourself Cali Best Driver. Thank you, everyone. I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna hit up Al Wolf, guys. I'm gonna tell him the rest of the story. Man, it was super good. Been such a good night, man. Anyways, it was unofficial still, guys. You know, that Corolla or whatever, that Toyota, man, you know, it's no hard feelings or whatever. It's all good, man. To all the cars that I've raced and beaten, man, it's all love, man. Even though some of the cars I've gotten a little toxic and I was like, get good, or I was like, nah, or like if I think they're being weird, or I'm like, get good, just being, instead of being, oh, that was chill. See you around. So I'm gonna start trying to do more of that. Keep your cool, guys. Cali Best Driver Challenge. Keep your cool for 3 months. Peace, everyone.